All right, let's try another one where we are solving a polynomial. We have to factor out the GCF, figure out what's left, use the zero product property to find our solutions, or our roots as they are called. So for letter B, I've got it written down, and there's not going to be a D, so you can cross that out if you need a little more room. I got to remember, you guys are, some of y'all are like big writers, so you need the space. So you can just cross out D. We'll stop at C. I need the GCF of a squared and 5a. Well, you know there's an invisible 1 right here, so the common factor between 1 and 5 is just 1. So I'll write that down. And then the GCF of a squared and a, you take the lowest exponent, it's just a. So now, what's left? Well, if I have an a and I want an a squared, then I have to multiply by a. A times a is a squared. Done. If I have an a and I want a 5a, I need to multiply by 5. A times 5 is 5a. Bring down the equal to 0. You just factored. Now we need to solve. So that's a is equal to 0. Remember, you're going to separate it. And a plus 5 is equal to 0. Well, a equal to 0, there's nothing to do, because you know that's an invisible 1 right there. That's just one of your solutions. You can box it. For the second one, a plus 5 equals 0. That means a must be negative 5. That's your second solution. And you're done. The work is right here. Making sure you take out the GCF correctly and you tell me what's left inside the parentheses correctly. Everything else is pretty simple. Now for letter C, I'm going to erase what we did for letter A. I'll erase a little bit of that. Come on, erase a little. And I'll leave that there. Some of y'all are still writing. But come up here for letter C. I want you to look and see what the difference is. I have 6n squared is equal to 15n. All right? Not a typo. I didn't make a mistake this time. This is what I meant to give you. If you notice, the issue is that it is not equal to 0. The only time you can use the zero product property is when your polynomial is equal to 0. Well, that's not a problem. You have full mathematical permission to set this equation equal to 0. All you got to do is move the 15 over. Now, have mercy. We haven't had to move anything over to the other side of the equal sign probably since February. But please remember, whenever you move something over to the other side, you change the sign, okay? So this becomes 6n squared minus 15n equals 0. If you put a plus, you know what? I'm just so done with that silly mistake. I'm not even going to look at the rest. I'm just going to count it wrong. If you put 6n squared plus 15n, I'm done. I'm not even going to bother to look at the rest of the work. You've got to make sure that when you move something over to the other side of the equal sign, you change that sign. So now we're ready. What is the GCF between 6 and 15? Well, 6, I have 1, 2, 3, 6. That's the factors of 6. 15, I have 1, 3, 5, 15. Well, what's the largest number that they share? 3. Lowest exponent is n. Tell me what you have left over. If I start off with 3n and I want to get 6n squared, I have to multiply the 3 times 2, and I have 1n here. 1n's got to be in here. N times n would give me that n squared. Now, if I have a minus sign here, I'm going to have a minus sign there. What do you multiply 3 by to get a negative 15? Hopefully you will say negative 5. And since I already have the n, I don't need another n in here. 3n times negative 5 is negative 15n. Set it equal to 0. Solve. 3n equals 0. I don't know why I put that there. That's wrong. 2n minus 5 equals 0. And now let's solve. 3 times n. Divide both sides by 3. N equals 0. There's your first solution. Let's do the other side. Now we got a little work to do. 2n minus 5. Let's move the 5 over. 2n equals 5. Y'all see what I just did? This is from quarter 1. This is from September. Divide both sides by 2. N equals 5 halves. Oh, it's a fraction. Get over it. box the answer. Here are your two solutions. Here are your two roots. Now, next thing I'm going to do, and if you're like, oh, you're moving too fast, I didn't get it, pause, rewind. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. These videos last forever. Just go back, rewatch, redo. Do whatever you need to do to make sure you understand this concept. You have an OYO. I'm going to write them down. If you want full credit for your notes, you got to make sure that you try these problems. If you're watching these videos in class, that simply means that you're just going to work the problems and I will check to make sure that they are done. If they are not completed, you will not get a passing grade for your notes. I'll repeat, you will not get a passing grade for your notes. This OYO puts everything together. It's just like the last example problem. Take your time, try it on your own.